Hi, welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast team with my, Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. It's been a long day. With myself, Jules, my co-host, Al. Hi, Al.
Oh, hey.
Al's been doing it all day long. This is only my third interview today. We are joined by our seventh and last guest on what has been our bumper open studio day via Zoom. Bev Armitt from Bevy's Fur Babies. Hi, Bev. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, fine. It's been. You've just got in? You said, hadn't you? Been out walking dogs?
Yeah, just busted through the door in seconds.
Bless you. Bless you.
Oh well, thanks for this, Bev. So, Bev, do you want to tell us all about yourself? What you do? So for us and our listeners.
Yeah. Course. I'm sorry, I haven't got my headphones, by the way. Sorry. So hopefully you can all hear me. So I'm Bev, and I am a dog walker in Shrewsbury and a pet care provider. So I've been going for 6 years now, and I mainly do group walks with dogs, and also like home visits for like cats and rabbit feeds and things like that. So yeah, it's been a bit of a turmoil year for all of us this year, us dog walkers, hasn't it, Jules?
Yep, certainly has.
But yeah, I've just recently opened an online pet shop as well. So that's been going for 5 weeks now and going really, really well. So that's a bit about me.
This is great, actually, because I get to venture into Jules's world for a podcast and talk about sort of like this is a very clever put together show, Jules. So let's just talk about what I do for a bit, because it's always Alex going on about what he does. No, this is really good because obviously it has been a really difficult year for a lot of people. But you think about what you guys do as far as visiting pets and walking dogs even. That it's going to have taken a huge knock, especially with people shielding, not needing a dog walker and stuff. And Jules, we have had little conversations about this, but it's nice to go into depth.
Exactly.
How was it for you back in sort of April when all this happened? What was it like for you?
This is you, Bev, because this is your show, it's not mine. So
that's all right. Well, it was probably exactly the same as you do. So we both, all of us, ground to a halt. Basically, we didn't work. No one really knew what we were allowed to do. There wasn't any clarity from our insurance companies whether we were covered to still walk dogs or what. So I actually stopped for 8 weeks. I know Jules stopped as well, but was doing NHS. I only had a few NHS key workers that needed help, but they actually could cope without me for the time that I took off for the initial lockdown. And we are still working now that we're in another lockdown, but there is more clarity. We are insured, everything's fine, and the majority of our customers, I don't know about you if it's the same, but they're all working from home, and they all understand the fact that if they don't use us, we can't survive. We are going to be stacking shelves somewhere, doing anything that we can until we get our lives back. So, yeah, people are still using us regardless because they need to support us.
I think that's probably one of the good things, certainly, that I've discovered within our community is the support for. Well, I find it quite a lot in Shrewsbury, full stop.
Yeah.
That the support that there is out there for small businesses is phenomenal. And I think particularly for us in Shrewsbury, we're lucky because we've got so many independent businesses in the town. Particularly where our studios are normally based in the Parade, all the little independent shops in the Parade. So, the market hall, all the independent businesses there, that we have that ethos anyway, I think, certainly within our town, and probably quite a bit in the county. So I think, you're right, Bev. It's first lockdown, obviously none of us really knew what we was doing, what we was allowed to get away with or not. And so people just muddled through and did what they could. Yeah. Whereas this time around, it's definitely a lot clearer. Quite a lot of my clients are actually working still away from work. I got 2 or 3 that work from home, but still want me to walk their dogs. One, because they're getting paid to work at home. and they're doing this sort of thing that we're doing. They're having Zoom meetings, and this is how a lot of people working from home are communicating with each other at the moment. So to take an hour out of their day to walk their dog, as much as they'd probably like to get away from their computer, and off and get a break, sometimes they just can't. So I think the fact that they've got the reassurance that we can still do it, and we've got safe operating procedures in place, haven't we?
Yeah.
We know, our clients are at home. We don't see them. I don't see any of mine. They're upstairs working in a home office somewhere or out the back. So I never see them. So everything is following all the COVID sort of, regulations we have to follow. So, and it's the same for you, isn't it? Because obviously, you like you say, you do the group walking. So you have to go to quite a few different places, don't you, to collect all the dogs? Yeah.
So different places. I can walk up to 6 dogs at a time, and then I'll go to a safe sort of environment for, a group walk where it's quite hard actually at the moment to find places that are quiet, because my normal quiet spots really aren't that quiet anymore. So it's been a challenging year, but the majority of my clients are actually working from home, and they just realize the fact that, when I stopped for the 8 weeks, my dog, the dogs that I've had for absolutely years were all, they were all different dogs. They were sat in the windows waiting for me, and I wasn't coming. They were, I was getting reports from my clients that their dog was depressed, acting differently, and it's heartbreaking. I've been in their lives ever since they were practically born, and, where's Auntie Bev gone? They all realise the socialisation factor. And because of my group walks, if you are a person that's got a dog and you're just going and out and walking your dog, you haven't got that socialisation factor. You physically got to meet up with somebody with another dog, and you're not getting that, what I can offer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's probably one of the issues that we've certainly experienced this time round with, I suppose it's been a saving grace for a few of us, hasn't it, that we've got, lockdown puppies have become a thing. So you're picking up puppies, but obviously equally we're picking up the issues that come with that, because people haven't been able to do early socialization with their puppies. They haven't been able to get out and have training because of the restrictions. So, you're picking up those sort of issues. And for those of us that aren't qualified trainers, that is a little bit more challenging. But you're studying at the moment, aren't you, as well?
Yeah. So I'm studying. To become a trainer. So I'm studying with Absolute Dogs. I've put that on hold a little tiny bit because of trying to get the shop going, which I've been working on since the beginning of the year anyway. It wasn't really a lockdown project. It was, I've always wanted to do it, certainly for the last couple of years anyway, but I've always been so busy, like literally 7 days a week, all day. I haven't got time to function in the evening. So lockdown was a bit of a blessing in disguise, because I did get the chance to actually sort that out and pull my finger out and actually get that sorted. Because I've always wanted to provide, decent things for dogs and cats, and, rabbits are coming soon as well, that aren't available in local chains. And I'm all about supporting local businesses. So I only shop from small suppliers. I don't have any big brands that you would find in big pet shops.
Has anybody ever shocked you when they've gone, I need you to walk my pet, and you go in and they've got an alpaca or something? I don't know. Has it ever happened? I mean, it must happen. When people got these exotic pets, No,
I can't say that. No,
Here's
my pet Komodo dragon.
There are people that, you're absolutely right, Al. There are people that will be asked to do perhaps a pet visit if someone's gone away, and a menagerie of pets need feeding or just checking on. I mean, it's not going to be an hour. You're going to pop in, feed them. And if somebody's got a tarantula, for example, you probably just go in and check and make sure it's perhaps still in its vivarium type.
You take this mouse and feed it to the snake. What? I'm really dealing with puppies. What's going on here?
Well, I don't actually deal with that side of animals. In my title, it's Bevy's fur babies. So I don't deal with anything that's not got fur on.
Tarantula has.
Yeah, that's a different kind of fur.
What I didn't realize, like lockdown puppies were a thing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That people have got themselves puppies to deal with loneliness, I guess. But then what you're doing is you're creating a whole generation of pets that are naturally born with social anxiety, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's insane.
And that's why as well, Al, I don't know if you guys sort of had noticed on social media, but the increase in pet theft, dog theft.
Yes, and the markings outside to people's houses and stuff. Yeah,
and as another result of lockdown, because people wanted puppies, and people won't necessarily know the right places, the good reputable breeders to go to, or the fantastic rescue centres that we've got in Shropshire, and there are plenty of them. The demand has been there. Puppies are very, very expensive, particularly your pedigree or these cross pedigree breeds. Unfortunately, the knock-on effect has been the increase in dog theft. So, but has given opportunities for other companies to set up to then be the finders. So Dog Tag is quite a big online company that helps people find lost dogs, and a lot of dogs do get found. And we don't want to be scaremongers, do we, Bev, about people sort of you don't have a dog because it'll get stolen.
No,
because that's not the case.
No, it's
anything. You just got to be vigilant, basically.
Yeah.
Do you think things have changed over the last few years with pets? Because I always remember when I was a kid, right? You'd see dogs chained out in the garden quite a bit. It was just one of those things I saw growing up. You don't see that a lot anymore. Obviously, on farms, things like that, people will do that. There seems to be a bit more of a consensus with pets and making them part of the family rather than just a pet. It seems to be more common now. I don't know if it's a social media thing now, if it's because lots more people are talking about the good sides of pets. They won't really broadcast on Facebook. Oh, yeah, my pet's chained outside, it's in the rain. I know it happens, but do you think things have changed over the last few years?
I think, yeah, the way that people see pet dogs and cats and things these days is a lot different to when I was born, definitely, as well, because I remember we used to have an Afghan hound growing up, and she was always tied to a tree at the front of the house. If she wasn't on the chain, she would escape, and she didn't have any recall, being a sight hound anyway. They do struggle. But yeah, I think it's more about, certainly for the last 6 years that I've been in business, it's more about, the pets are safe and they're part of the family. I used to pet sit. That's how I first started. And, we used to get told, is it okay if the dog sleeps in bed with you? Because that's where she sleeps. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's fine. That's the norm. It doesn't sleep outside in a kennel. And I've looked into doing dog boarding myself now that I've got a mortgage and that. And, one of the first questions that people ask me, oh, are you going to have kennels in the garden? And I'm like, no, the dogs would live in my house. They wouldn't be in a kennel, And I do think that people's mindsets are a lot different than now.
And when it comes to sort of how you would treat a dog and how you train a dog and sort of disciplines that you would install into an animal, when you go around somebody's house and you see them not doing the things that you would absolutely do, is it kind of a real grate on you? It's kind of like, the dog goes in the bed. Okay. You feed your dog what now? What?
I've started my dog training and I'm doing behavior as well, because I just want to be more educated in myself, but also I want to educate other people too, because, there's a lot of things that I've come across, or, how people, especially people train. There's a lot of trainers out there that are a trainer one, for example, where they will use aversive behavior and, not reward if the dog isn't doing something right, or will smack and things like that. And I want to be a trainer that, uses positive reinforcements, because that's how you get dogs to work for you. They need it to be fun and exciting, not horrible. And it's the same with children. It doesn't work. You smack a child and you tell a child off, that child's going to grow up to hate you. So whereas if you do positive things and tell them why, then they understand a lot more. But
I think it's really Go on, sorry, Al.
No, I was
Well, as I say, it's quite fascinating what you were saying about. Oh, sorry. And this is a nightmare because we can actually see each other, so we know who's trying to speak.
Go on, Jules.
But what you said about Alva, about how having dogs these days are different to the past, and it is, because I think when you hear people say stuff about, like you've got all these different trainers or behavioural sessions, and it's like, a dog's just a dog. Why have you got to do X, Y, and Z with it? I never used to do that with my dog. It just used to walk to heel. I never had a dog that was like this. I never had to see a behaviourist. And I think dogs, they are a reflection of their owners and how they're handled. And if, dogs are a lot more anxious these days. They definitely are, because owners are anxious about different things, and it projects on dogs. So that's very different. And the food, you can of pedigree chum. Other brands are available, but for as an example, that's how people used to just feed their dogs. But now there's the raw food, there's the kibble, there's all the special diet food if a dog's got this medical condition. That wasn't there before either. It was just this. So I think things have changed, and social media's helped with a lot of that, and raised awareness on a lot of stuff from what people just used to do. So
I remember we went cat food shopping with my cousin. We went to Colombia. Was that right? And she was getting cat food for her cat, and she'd only go to this one particular store because it's the only place that sold that particular type of food. And if it wasn't there, she'd have to drive miles to another place, because that's how particular that cat's diet was. That's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. But that's what I've never been. Okay, so I've never been like a crazy cat, dog, or pet person, really. And that's because I like to focus on my family and stuff. It sounds really weird, but I still find myself getting drawn to like cat videos and dog videos and stuff like that, because I love it. And what you were saying earlier about smacking dogs and smacking kids, it was actually animals that were addressed before children as far as abuse was concerned. And it was actually Russell Howard, the comedian, that made me realize that he was like, you can't punch someone in the streets. Now you can't smack your dogs. It's only children apparently were allowed to smack. And he's like, that doesn't make sense to me. And I was kind of like, there you go. That's a good point. That you shouldn't be able to hit anybody, whether it's a dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
child or a human being. What lessons have you learned whilst doing your training? Things that you didn't realize to become a trainer. Is this something that you've been doing all this whole time that you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I was doing that?
No, not really any light bulb moments where I've learned anything that I didn't really know, if you know what I mean. I think if you're going to be a dog trainer, you don't just wake up one day and be, I'm going to be a dog trainer. It doesn't, the same as it didn't really work. I've always wanted to work with animals because I've loved them. You don't just wake up and be like, I really hate my job, so what can I do? I'll be a dog walker. I just think that there's a lot of things that you realize as you're doing the dog training that I'm doing, and I haven't got that far with it. Like I said, I've put it on hold a little bit because of the shop, but I've got a whole year to actually do it, but that's what I'm going to focus on getting through this year. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of light bulb moments that I will be like, oh, that's why a dog does that. And I mainly want to do it because of the dogs that do have the behavioral issues, the naughty but nice dogs, the reactive dogs. They're not aggressive, they're just reactive. And I want to know, I just want to be able to help everyone and go that way, down that line.
And you're saying obviously about, you've put this on hold because you want to concentrate on the shop. And you've only had that, it's been going, 5 weeks?
5 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been at it since February.
So tell us about your shop, your online shop. Let's make it clear it's an online shop. It's not a physical sort of entity that anyone can walk into as such. But and you said you wanted to make sure that you were able to sell stuff that was away from the norm, that other bigger brands, pet stores that do. So what's different about what you've got for us?
I'm not selling pedigree chum or anything like that.
Good.
Get that from Asda.
A lot of dogs have allergies, and there's certain brands that that dogs can have if they need, I don't know, say they've got some kind of flare up with pancreatitis or something like that. They've got to have a low fat diet. There's not actually that many shops that you can go to and go and pick up a low fat, chew or treat or anything like that from the well-known brands. And it is a bit of a maze out there. If you just walk into, I don't know, Pets at Home or whatever, you are like, oh, I don't know, and you'll end up picking up whatever. There's a lot of research, and I wanted to do it so that I'm supporting local and small businesses, because I think we need to support our independent people, not our big chains. I know they got there somehow. They started small, but they don't really need the support at the moment. It's the small brands that do. And I just want to raise awareness. Like, you go into a shop at Christmas and you'll see loads of rawhide, so bad. But people don't know why. It's bad. And it's only because I've heard of horror stories and seen things, dogs having operations because a bit of bones got stuck in their stomach lining. And, I want to raise awareness more than anything, and, be able to provide for our local people as well as the rest of the UK and make it easy to shop, basically.
And I think go on, sorry, Al.
No. Please.
Well, I'm going to pick up on the rawhide thing, because I think, Christmas is coming. You get the selection boxes in the stores for, obviously, people to buy in terms of all their chocolates. You get the little, I'm assuming you still get them, but, the little stocking shaped bags full of all your favourite Cadburys and Roundtrees and whatever. And unfortunately, this time of year also brings similar advertising and branded goodies, all Christmas related, and they're all rawhide. And because that's easy, it's cheap and easy to make. It's easy to get out. Yeah, exactly. And people just grab it off the shelves because it's $1.99 and look at all these goodies for my dogs without realizing how it's been made, the process that it's gone through, and then what it looks. I mean, it doesn't take long, does it? Chew up a bit of rawhide, and what does it turn into? And you can imagine. And certain dog breeds will not be able to stomach that, for want of a better word, in the right way. So, and it does lead to all sorts of horror stories. So, I think, what treat examples could you tell people about, Bev, that could get instead of rawhide, basically?
Okay, yeah. So instead of rawhide, I've got like natural treats and chews. So like natural tripe and, yak chews. There's nothing in them apart from yak's milk. It's all natural products. And most of the things that I'm focusing on as well is like the eco-friendly and no plastics. Just because I think there's just so much out there that comes in non-recyclable packaging. And my shop's focusing on the fact that, we are being as eco-friendly as possible. Or if it does come in a plastic packet, it is recyclable plastic. But yeah, there's so much. There's natural treats and chews that you can have that are so much better for your dog to digest, and give them a better lifestyle, because they're not going to get a dicky belly or get it stuck in their mouth or anything like that. But yeah, so I've got a large range of natural treats and chews, and some are from our lovely Life of Riley as well. So she bakes in Shropshire, and there's nothing in them. They're grain free, no nasties. So I support her as much as I can as well.
Didn't Duncan start doing that as well? Planet Donut, didn't he? He started making doggy donuts.
Oh, yeah. Did he?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, doggy donuts. I thought that was quite clever, cool idea. Good for an Instagram anyway. Always good for an Instagram. So like these big chains, the big chains. I'm not going to mention the names, but they that rhymed. Hey, they should lose. How are they still selling these really bad products then? Because I guess they do. Like cheap, nasty.
People buy them, and so therefore they're still getting produced and sold. I suppose they're uneducated enough to realise how bad they are.
I mean, the same could be said, couldn't it? You could have somebody argue against, like, well, why do stores still sell massive bags of sweets and chocolates to children, because all it results in is, like, rotten teeth, obesity, diabetes.
Children. Children.
Well, and adults. We all do it. We all do it, don't we? So it's the same, isn't it? It is cheap to get something, and it tastes nice. You don't necessarily think about the consequences.
Yeah, but I'm not necessarily going to lose my stomach line into a box of Quality Street. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, that is true. Yeah, that is true. Well, I think, because people, I suppose, because it's dogs and that, there's potentially less of a welfare concern than if it's human. Right. That's probably the element of where it comes from.
Speaking of welfare, we're coming to the time of year where dogs are usually bought for a quick and easy, emotionally gratifying Christmas present, which is usually lasts about a year or so before they get rid of. Any advice on coming up to Christmas and those? Those, because a lot of people do, don't they? They buy pets, the novelty wears off quickly, and then they end up in Hilbrae. So what advice would you give to parents and families on the run up to Christmas?
I would definitely say do research on the breeds beforehand, because there's so much to actually know about. The different breeds have different personalities, and they need different training. Research the size that they're going to grow into. You don't want a Great Dane and you live in your house if you live in a flat. I mean, that's not a good situation. And make sure you don't buy from like a backstreet breeder, because you need to have a license for that, and also it's better to adopt, not to shop.
That's a big thing with the adopting, and I know you say how, like, 12 months later, you'd probably be quite shocked to know that puppies, Christmas dogs, Christmas puppies are normally returned, or shelters, rescue places will see an increase about 3 to 6 months is when dogs get, it doesn't last long. They go straight back in. So I think I definitely 100% echo what Bev said. And it is about, if you can go to a rescue centre, the rescue centre isn't just going to let any Tom, Dick and Harry have a dog for whatever amount of money you want to chuck down in front of the rescue centre. Whereas, breeders, unfortunately, that's their name of their game. That's what they're about. You give me £1,000, you can have this pedigree pup. So whereas a rescue centre will, home checks, all sorts of things are carried out before they will let you have one of their dogs.
Yes.
Yep.
Very much their dogs, because you have to fit so many criteria.
That's one thing I noticed. Sorry, go on. You're the ex.
I was just going to say, if it doesn't work out, if you've rescued a dog there, they will take it back. So that, a breeder will take it back as well. A reputable breeder will take the dog back if it doesn't work out. Say it's bitten a child or something like that. A reputable breeder will take it, but these backstreet breeders, not builders, will not. They'll take your money and run. At the end of the day, they've already got puppies brewing left, right, and centre. So
we adopted a dog years ago. It was a husky, 12-month-old husky, and we wondered why this beautiful dog was surrounded by all these staffies and dogs that people. I couldn't understand it. So we adopted the dog. It cost £100, and then we went to get checked at you get dog registered at the vets and things. The vet wasn't happy, really wasn't happy, and they did tests on the dog and found out it had cancer. So we ended up picking up a dog that was really poorly. We had to give him back because we couldn't afford thousands of pounds a year to look after this beautiful dog. It's not. I don't think it's the rescue centre's fault, but. A certain vet would have missed it, or as a certain vet would have found it. I don't know, but it's one of those things. But they did. They let us take the dog back, and we let them keep the money as a donation. But yeah, it was, and
that's really nice, because you do, you will get some rescue centres that if you're taking on a aged rescue or a rescue dog with short term of life left because of an illness, some really good reputable sort of rescue charities will actually support and pay for that vet treatment, because you're taking that, that dog on for probably what might just be 2 years, but there'll be a lot of vet visits. There might be a lot of medicine that's required. So, there are some really fantastic charities out there that will support that as well. And that's why that whole, but again, you're going to get your backstreet, but they won't, willingly tell a dog to somebody that they know's got a particular.
That's why I really like the Dogs Trust, because we went around loads of different kennels, and Dogs Trust are great because they will come out to your house and they offer nice services. The kennels are just beautiful. I'd sleep in one. Like, they were beautiful.
It's very nice down there, isn't it, at Roden? Yeah.
Yeah, it really is nice. So let's talk about the online shop. What's the response been like since you've opened? Has it been slow, or has it been people flocking towards you?
I think it's been busier than I thought it was going to be to start with. I didn't really know how it would take off, but I've had like a couple of thousand people look at the website, so I think that's good for 5 weeks. Obviously, I've not had that many orders yet, but they say that the average person takes 3 times and then they buy to look at a shop. But yeah, I think people are more susceptible to the fact that, I'm a local person and I'm supporting, small local businesses as well, and thinking about the environment and thinking about our lovely animals' bellies, because, that's the best thing for them, really.
Yeah. That's quite key, because what goes in comes out the right way.
And we see a lot, don't we, Jules?
Yeah, as dog walkers, I can certainly tell when one of my clients, particularly like raw feeds.
I know dogs, a raw feed.
Yeah, we love raw feed.
Yeah, raw feed.
Because what comes out is like not a problem. Yeah. And probably would encourage a lot more people to pick up their dog waste after them.
Yeah, because it's a lot easier.
Significantly easier. Obviously, we're not talking about a particularly pleasant thing now, are we, Al? But that is quite significant, because there's a lot of people that complain about dog mess, or somebody will use the said dog receptacle bag, and then just leave it on the side of the road anyway. So, well, you might as well have not bagged it, because it's going to degrade far quicker in the ground than in a plastic bag.
Unless you've got my compostable bags, Jules.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Yeah, you get all the biodegradable bags now. But even so, I think people sometimes don't pick up after their dogs, because they just think there's no way I'm going to pick that up in a bag, because of the consistency of it, for the want of a better word. So, which is important about what goes in the front end.
What's the pet taxi thing you do? What's that all about?
So pet taxi is an option that you have for if you, say your car breaks down and your dog's got an appointment, or your cat's got an appointment at the vet, or you don't drive, or, you're stuck at work and your dog's poorly. We offer that as an add-on service, so that you can just call us up. We can take them to your holiday provider, if you're allowed to ever go on holiday again, or we can take them to the vets or anywhere really that they need to go, and pick them up and take them back home again. So we just offer that as an extra service, because my van is kitted out with crates and they're lockable for extra security. So no dogs are like together, if you know what I mean. They're all separate. I just offer that as an extra service, because some people, don't drive or are stuck in situations. Jules, you helped someone out the other day, didn't you? Or someone needs help?
Yeah, Grace. She's another local supplier. She makes the little doggy bandanas, yours by Louis. Her little dog had to go and have an operation, and she doesn't drive. The car was, I think her partner's car was off the road. So, yeah, I got Louis to the vets so he could go and have his operation. And just unfortunately, purely because of timings, I couldn't get the dog from the vet back home. But another one of the dog walkers in our network that was able to pick up and get Louis back home. And, yeah, he's all well now and bounding around after his anterior cruciate ligament operation.
Nice.
But, yeah.
I like that.
But that's not one of my clients, and I wouldn't walk her dog. but it's just there. It's that add-on service, as as Bev said.
Yeah.
I love that you guys have got a nice sort of network. Actually, it's really nice that you encourage each other and you talk to each other. And because I was going to say it's dog eat dog, but that's a terrible word. I'm really sorry. I'm not going there.
That's a very apt word. It's a very apt word, Al, because it is competitive, and as Bev said, it's more of a vocation, and you can tell. Dog walkers. You do see dog walkers setting up, and then you see them not being around for very long, because it isn't a case of just set up and just do this. Oh, it's really easy. It's not easy at all. People like, people, like my neighbour's been walking my dog in lockdown, and then suddenly that neighbour hasn't got a job, and they think, oh, I walk that dog, I'll do that as a job. When actually, like, the amount of stuff. I mean, we're unfortunately at the moment, we're a non-regulated industry.
And that goes with everything, doesn't it? That's everything dog related is unregulated.
Yeah, absolutely. But the boarding, all of it. Mm-hmm. So, and there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes at the moment to make us a regulated industry, which will help, because it means, again, it'll only be the reputable ones that can stay in business, which gives reassurance to people out there that it is another fact. It's a family. A dog isn't just a dog. For a lot of people, it is a additional family member. So, and needs to be treated as such.
I imagine there are some people that are really, really connected to their pet, especially people during lockdown that have used these dogs as almost support animals, their companions, close sort of friendships developed.
And not just the owners, we are as well. Like we love them as much as they're ours, and that's the way it should be.
I like that. That's cute. I love these little the fur box hampers you've got for Christmas. They're so cool. I'm on the website. It's a beautiful website, by the way. You definitely need to go and check that out. It's Bevy's Fur Babies petcare.co.uk. Check it out, because there's lots and lots of great things to look at. I thought they were pants then, but it's a neckerchief.
No, I don't sell dog pants.
Dog pants. Little neckerchief. It's definitely a great website. It's brilliant. Who does your website for you? Who made that for you?
So a couple of friends did it for me. One of them is my best friend, and another one, when I got a bit stuck and couldn't do any more myself, actually owns Strawberry Paws, and she helped me when I was pulling my hair out. So yeah, she's an absolute wizard. I'm just not very educated that way in the computer world.
Me neither. It's good to know someone like that.
But it's all me that does everything on it, and it's a learning progress. But yeah, thank you very much for the comment.
No, it's good. Has anybody ever thought of, and this isn't live, so we can cut it out, and we can work together as a trio, if you like, on this, like an Uber for dog walkers?
For dog walkers?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like an app. So like there's you can bring up the app and you're like, oh, there's a dog walker here. I need a dog walker in 5 minutes. Bam, done. Walker's on his way.
Ooh. You're onto something.
Is that a unicorn idea? Or do you reckon it wouldn't take?
I think it is.
Obviously, there's lots of, particularly in Shrewsbury, in the surrounding areas, there's lots of different Facebook groups where people will do a shout out, asking, I need a dog walker, I need a good kennels, I need a home boarder, I need a pet sitter, etc. So lots of people do a shout out, and then those of us that follow those sites obviously can jump in, recommend, etc. Quite a lot of my clients that I've had, I've got as a result of Bev forwarding them on to me, because she's not been able to pick them up, or they're in my neck of the woods rather than, because Bev's based south of town, I'm based north of town, so, and vice versa. But we're Bev and I are quite lucky, because we're in a very small private closed Facebook group of dog professionionals. It's not all dog walkers, there are boarders there. There's, as she's already mentioned, Strawberry Paws, Emma. We've got behavioralists, we've got trainers, we've got vet physiotherapists or dog physiotherapists in the group. Sarah, obviously, the Life of Riley, the pet bakery. So we've got a good mix there. So every time we see something, we can share that amongst each other and like find the need.
So yeah, I suppose we've got our own sort of app.
You should,
Yeah, we have.
If none of your groups or even a website isn't called Facebook, I'm going to be really upset.
I think you're onto something, Alex. I think we need
my synapses are going. Do you know what? I'm sitting here. I look ridiculous, by the way. You guys can't see me. I'll take a screenshot in a sec. But I got my sunglasses. I'm sitting here with aviators on, a woolly hat because it's gone cold, right? I'm bald-headed guy, so I put my hat on. I've had a bright light staring at my face all day, so I put my sunglasses on.
I wonder why you have sunglasses on.
I know it's crazy, right? But I've got a headache and I've got a light that I need to. And this is my last show of the day, so I'm having a beer, I'm relaxing, and I think the fact that I'm in relaxed mode now, my synapses are going, and I'm like, let's create a £1 billion empire on a podcast for dog walkers. Welcome to Facebook.
There are companies like bark.com and stuff that you can advertise on, but to be fair, that's even more unregulated than people that have just got Facebook pages. People that can go on there and claim they're a home boarder and look after your dog and not have a boarding license, but can do it technically because they're covered under bark.com, but it doesn't really. I'd just avoid that.
You've got to be careful because I think, obviously you see coming up on different social media, care homes, or like somebody's got a carer at the home and the family are a bit concerned because their elderly relative is acting a bit strange and a bit odd, and they're coming across bruises that they've never seen before. And so they put one of these cameras in, don't they? Like a camera room.
Like a nanny cam type thing, yeah.
Yeah. And then suddenly you see that carer has been abusing, that person they're supposed to be looking after. It's exactly the same in our world. There's been some cases of people like, my dog's acting really weird. My dog's really scared of this. They weren't before. And again, they've done it. They've got cameras installed in the home. And then you've seen supposed pet sitters mistreating the dog, hitting the dog, and it happens. So it happens in our world as well. And that's why, and obviously it's a bit different because in the care industry it's regulated and it still happens. But, in our industry it's less so and more potential for it to happen. So I think, certainly with Bev and I and the people in our group, I know owners whose houses I go in, they've got like the pet cams and that. I don't have an issue. I don't think my privacy is being invaded by their spying on me. They're not at all. And I've got nothing to hide. So, I think, again, you have to just be conscious of this sort of thing and being very comfortable with who you've got. Not just walking your dog, but they're coming into your home. You're giving them a set of keys. I've got people's keys, and that's, I've got to be entrusted to keep them secure, safe and locked away as well. So Bev's exactly the same. All of us in our little group all have those responsibilities.
Yeah. I got to say, Jules, I've got a lot of respect for you. I mean, we were chatting before, and you telling us about there's this dog hiding around behind the chair, which is going mental at you because she didn't know you, and you were kind of like, and you just put treats out, and you knew how to deal with this dog that was just going absolutely rancid at you, and those little tricks are just so cool. Like, for me, I'd just be like, oh my god. Okay. What do I do? This dog's going crazy at me. I'm supposed to look after this dog, but yeah, you knew what to do.
Yeah, I think it's an intuition thing as well. And obviously, I've got 2 dogs. One of my dogs is reactive. Sometimes not. So and if I've got a new client and that you don't know the situation with the dog. I don't know them. So I don't want to just go in and take that dog for a walk. I want that dog to come to me and be happy that it's going out. And yeah, there is a little dashie I'm working with at the moment, which I put on my social media that has got some issues. So she's getting some help, but I'm not going to force her out on a walk because that's what the owners are paying me to do. And thankfully the owners aren't making me take the dog for a walk. So I'm just doing a pet visit at the moment because until that dog's comfortable with me and wants to go out with me, I'm not going to force it because it's not going to help the dog in any way, shape or form. and it probably won't help anybody else that ever goes to visit at the house. So, it's just things that we pick up. And I'm fortunate enough that I've got a dog that's got some issues. So I am a bit more attuned to that than if I had a perfectly behaved pet.
I'm looking to see if there's a website called Facebook.
You really are going for this, aren't you?
I think you're onto a winner.
There's nothing called Facebook. You guys need to get on this right away. Yeah. I'm telling you now, this is a unicorn idea. Facebook.com. I just think it's great.
Right, there you go. That's something to add to your list now. Then you can set that up and then we can join it.
Oh, I've loved this. Bev, thank you so much for joining us. This has been...
Thanks for asking.
Send us the link to your web. I've got the link here. I'll go with the episode release. I'll put the link for the website for people to check out. Listeners, make sure you do give this lady some support, because, like you said at the beginning of the show, it's good to support independence. I mean, there's the pet shop in Colham that I always breeze past. I'm always walking past and always see this really old sort of vets or pet shop in the corner there, and I'm kind of like, oh my God, that place has existed forever. But I parked outside there for about 40 minutes and it's so busy. People in and out. I'm just like, wow, okay. It's who you know, isn't it? It's like people they don't like to go to PetSmart, things like that. They like to go to their pet shop. You know?
I think it's about the brand though as well. People go back to brands. So and people that they can trust. So, I've already got a good network of people in my little social group anyway, and because I've had a pet business for like 6 years, like I've already got quite a lot of followers and respected by a lot of people and clients and things. So word of mouth is very powerful on social media, as you know. So that's why I think the shop's doing well as well.
Yeah,
fantastic. So go to the website, check that out. Jules, have you got anything to add before we get out of here?
No, Echo, go and get your Christmas goodies.
Not just Christmas.
Well, no, not just Christmas, but particularly at the moment. Yeah. Don't go and get those little selection bags of rawhide. Get on Bevy's Fur Babies online pet store and get some goodies from there.
And she does not sell doggy pants, by the way, just to let you know. I'm not endorsing.
But they are a thing now, doggy pants.
Yeah, for dogs that are in season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a little doggy nappy, so that
Okay. So she does sell doggy pants.
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay. just don't listen to me at all this episode. Honestly, I'm done in. Bev, thank you so much. I want to give people just to let you know about what's going on around Christmas around Shropshire, because I think it's really nice for us to have something to do, something that's bringing people together before it's even started, and that's on the 16th and the 24th of December. There's carols on your doorstep, which is it's a big thing. It started off in Shropshire. It seems to be spreading across the country from what I see. A lot of the national papers talking about it. And basically what they're doing on the 16th and the 24th is BBC Radio Shropshire are going to be playing Christmas carols. You can tune in and you can all stand on your doorstep and listen in and sing. And this is going to be just rows and rows of houses all singing carols together. It's going to sound magical. I always keep comparing it to the Grinch. You know, when he stole Christmas and he stood there and you could still hear them singing. That's what it's going to sound like, hopefully. So 16th and 24th, make sure you take part. It's going to be amazing. Also, I want to say hi to the parade shops that we're usually based at. We'd be doing this at the studio there if it wasn't for this COVID nonsense. But obviously we can't. Zoom is our friend this week. But make sure you support independence around Shrewsbury, around Shropshire. Make sure you're supporting your local stores, places like the parade shops. And finally, I want to say thank you to Chris Goff from CGR Business Solutions. We are now registered CIC. We've got big things planned, but we wouldn't be in that state if it wasn't for Chris. So if you've got any... you need business solutions, you got a business and you need help, make sure you go to see CGR. Jules, thank you so much for your support today.
Thank you.
You, Shane and Dee, have been awesome for these open studios. Thank you very much for your patience, your support. I think it's gone really well, actually. We didn't really have any
It's gone
problems.
really well, really well.
Yeah.
So
We've done really,
yeah,
really
like you say, Zoom is everybody's friend at the moment. That's for sure.
It's how we have to live. It's how we have to live in our caves.
Yeah.
Bev, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you too.
Thanks,
Thank you very
Bev.
much, guys, and we will catch you guys. Short. Good. I'm trying to think of different goodbyes.
You don't want to do your peace out, do you?
No, I don't. Ciao for now.